Hi all, Mrs. Arndt here. Today I'm going to walk you through placing some work features in your CAM that you'll need in order to assemble your Automata box. First off, open up the CAM part file, and the first thing that we're going to place is a mid-plane work plane that's centered between the two flat surfaces of your CAM. So going up to the work features of plane and opening the drop-down, we're going to choose mid-plane between two planes. Once we've selected that, we just need to choose the two flat surfaces on the front and back of the CAM. And that automatically places the work plane centered in the CAM. Another feature that we need is an axis going through the center of the square hole in the middle of the CAM. In order to place an axis, we first need a point that is going to identify the center of that square hole. So let's create a new sketch right on the front surface. My square is centered right on the axis point, and so all I need to do is place a point right on that center. If your square is not centered on the axis, you can still create that center point by just hovering over, and I do believe you would need to project some geometry, and then when you go to place that point, those vertical lines will show up to help you identify the center points. Once you have the point placed, now we just need to place an axis. So I'm going to choose normal to plane through point because it will be perpendicular to the plane. So I'm selecting the center point and selecting that front flat face. And there's my axis. If you'd like to extend the axis, hovering over the ends shows you the two arrows that help you extend. Whether you extend it or not, an axis extends infinitely in both of those directions. The last thing we need to place is one more work plane. It's going to include the center axis of the CAM hole, and it's going to be perpendicular to the other work plane that we've already placed. So to do this, going into plane drop-down, this time I'm going to choose parallel to plane through point. And I'm going to open the children of the origin file, and I want it to match up with that YZ plane. So I'm going to select that plane and then select that center point. And now my work plane is placed. To extend it, I can hover over the corners until the two arrows pop up, and that lets me extend it. Before I go, I'm going to rename that last work plane that I placed, and I'm going to call that one Angle of Rotation CAM. That's going to help me identify the two different work planes when I go to assemble the Automata box. Now's a good time to save.